One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family.
Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Sunday Live. My name is Lisa Ferrero. I'm the founder and spiritual director of SoulCall Global. Wherever you are on the planet, we welcome you this morning. And if you happen to be live and in person with us here in Columbus, thank you for being in the room today. Happy to say that our community, our local community is growing and growing. So if you're afraid to walk into like 5 people, show up and there'll be more than 5 people. So looking forward to meeting you in person sometime Sunday morning here at AIAM. The more information about where we meet live on Sundays starting at 10 Eastern is on our website, soulcallglobal.org. And just coming off of the round of Independence Day and just some of the things that are happening in the world. I know yesterday, something that really did me some good was a long meditation with a group. I did a 6-hour meditation yesterday that involved chanting, silence, more chanting, silence. Sometimes that's the way in, is to do the chanting and the silence, and the chanting and the silence. And I'm telling you this because we started a kirtan group here in Columbus, Ohio, and it's fantastic. And it's a wonderful way, to help keep our mind going inside and turning off the sensory input that we're getting that is, I get what's happening on the planet, and you can see it from a larger scope of cause and effect and positive, negative, and inside is the place where we can realize we are all one in this oneness and bring forth this beauty. It's very important, and it's vital more than ever to turn off these sense telephones and turn off the way people are showing up in the world, showing us how frustrated and unhappy they are. This is, if we've not ever seen a scream or a plea or a cry for help, please look around. There are people screaming for attention, screaming for help, screaming for that joy that comes only from the bliss of the soul and bringing it forward. So in the months to come, as we move into autumn, I know we're busy traveling with family and friends and things like that through the summer most of the time. But as we get into the autumn months, we're going to be offering a series of classes and workshops, live and in person. There'll be hybrid events, much like our Sunday mornings, that will really help to I don't want to say teach you, but to remind you of what you already know and how to get in there before the world wrestled away that innocence from us. So it's a vital thing to find that balance every once in a while. And it took me 6 hours, and I felt like I was making a dent, So here we are. So the invitation is join us as frequently as you can. Watch our talks on Sunday. Look at some of the SoulCall Sundays. Look at some of the Wisdom Wednesdays we had lined up. There are people who live by the joy of their soul every single day. And that's the invitation for every single one of us incarnate on the planet. No one is more special than anyone else. It's just how much we practice living from the soul and bringing the joy and the beauty forward. It's contagious, more contagious than fear and violence. It is. So open up to that, and we'll have a series of opportunities for you to find that spark, whether it be poetry, painting, dancing, music, silence. I love silence. I hear a lot more in the silence. There's symphonies of sound that happen in the silence, or just walking in nature without your earbuds. I think we talked about that too. So the invitation is there. And this morning, Reverend Christy Hardwick is going to offer the talk in just a moment. And it's going to be living in the flow. And so right now, living in the flow, as we always start with SoulCall Sunday, we're going to invite you wherever you are to participate with, I always want to say Reverend Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz, but she is, let's just call her that. I don't know why I do that. Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz is going to offer a traditional Chinese medicine called Qigong, and it's using mind, body, spirit. There's no separation between these things. It's just a confluence of energy and attention, and how to harness that energy attention to bring it into your beautiful body so that you can feel more in tune with all the energies within and without at all times. So please welcome Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz.
Hello, everyone. We are continuing with our Chunung Qigong practice, going inside to connect and merge mind, body, spirit. So always look forward, then withdraw the vision inward, and very gently close the eyes. Naturally, the entire body relaxes. Be aware of the center of the head, Shenji Palace, and from there expand outward in all directions, above, below, front, back, sides, every space in between. Expanding, connecting us all, heart to heart and mind to mind as one. Gathering all the healing chi, good wisdom information, and pulling it back deep inside. Uniting, transforming. Please allow the hands to move upward, palms facing inward in front of the chest. Lace the fingers together, staying inside our inner lighthouse. Fingers relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Allow the elbows to be pulled outward, being held by our chi field, pulling outward. Relax. Song. Relax. Song. 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 Then slowly move down, staying, fingers interlaced, to the navel, and observe chi. Stay inside. Then separate hands. Relax hands to the side. Slowly, keeping the mind's consciousness awake inside, aware. Slowly open the eyes and give thanks.
Thank you, Deborah. Just feeling that, let's just stay in the energy of that meditation. Breathing in. Breathing in light. Exhaling love. Breathing in light. Exhaling love. Breathing in joy. Exhaling light. Let's just sit for about 30 seconds, just lifting the gaze to the point between the eyebrows, the third eye region, following the breath. On the inhalation, you can mentally chant, I am. And on the exhalation, mentally chant, that I am. Just following that mantra. And if another passing thought should come through your mind, just let it keep going. Don't latch onto it and create a story. And don't follow the thought. Follow the breath. Feel the joy. Just for a few seconds. Now begin with an opening prayer. You can repeat after me if you feel so inspired. If not, you can internalize the energy. Recognize that it does the same thing. Just more subtle vibration. Oh, infinite divine beloved, we open to the possibility of more faith, deeper trust, less of a need to know all things, more of a willingness to participate with what is in the moment. Make us divine instruments of realization. Realization that there is no separation, that the soul of our individual beings is in fact part of one soul, one energy which permeates all that is. We are one. There is no separation, only oneness. It is our ego self that makes us think so. But that's what makes it beautiful. Help us to realize our part in this whole as we co-create this sacred journey of life with inspiration, divine knowing, and great love. Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Now we welcome, he is a Reverend. Reverend Andy Anderson is going to offer the first song this morning, which is called River of Life. And then we're going to go right into Reverend Christy Hardwick's talk about In the Flow, followed by a song called Awe. Enjoy.
Don't say no, the spirit flow, and let it continue to
flowing with the river. Said I feel alright right now, 'cause I'm only loving. Said I feel alright right now, 'cause I'm only loving. I feel alright. Said I feel alright in every part of my life. I feel alright now. I said I feel alright in every part of my life. I feel alright. I said I feel alright in every part of my life. I feel alright when I'm flowing with the river. Oh, life is so good. Oh, when I'm flowing with the river of life. That's the way it is.
Good morning. Yes, flowing with the river of life. Thank you, Andy Anderson. Love his music and appreciate that message. I feel all right, just flowing with the river of life. Do you ever notice that you always feel better when you just allow and flow with what is? We spend so much of our life in resistance to what is, in resistance to a particular moment. I have been listening to for a little bit Michael Singer and rereading a book of his that's called The Untethered Soul. Some of you took a class with Reverend Bonnie about this. And he also wrote a book called The Surrender Experiment. And most recently, Living Untethered. And what he's reminding us about is this idea of setting all of these preferences and expectations about life and how things should be, and how it gets us out of the flow of life. And when we think about the flow of life, we think about our heart and our circulation. We are constantly flowing from the inside out. Our blood is moving, the lymph is moving, all this fluid. We're mostly water, we're mostly fluid, and it's flowing constantly. Sometimes we have congestion. I had a little congestion, so I needed to do this at a time when I had a little less congestion. And congestion just means that we're not flowing, right? Things are not flowing in us in a natural way. Staying in the flow is the way for us to allow the power that's available to us coming from our heart space to constantly be giving us energy and allowing us to tap into that eternal resource. We have the capacity to be tapped in to the root of life. And we do that by remaining open. So staying in the flow requires us to remain open. But if we're constantly wanting things to be different than they are, how can we stay in the flow? If we're constantly restricting the flow by trying to direct it ourselves and get it to go a different place than where it is right now, have that person behave differently, have the circumstances be different, how do we actually stay in the flow? You know, we really don't. We actually need to accept things as they are. Now that today, for me, is a very tough assignment. Accepting things as they are when they feel so unacceptable, what could that possibly mean? It means not being in resistance to the now moment, to what's happening right now. It doesn't mean in the next moment we don't take some action that could make the following moment even more different. But it means staying in the present moment with all the power of the present moment, with all the power of the flow of energy from our heart to give to the next moment. So we go back to this resistance idea. If I'm in constant resistance, constantly looking for my preferences to happen, constantly wanting things to be different than they are, I am not allowing what is to flow through and then allow the next moment to happen. There are so many things that are happening right now that really give us pause. I don't know about you, but I'm constantly thinking, I can't imagine anything worse than this happening right now. And then the next week, something worse happens, right? And when those things come up, I find myself constricting. I find myself trying to close. And you're hearing a little beeping sound. That's because I forgot to turn off the tire minder in our vehicle, which reminds us that if our tire pressure is not exactly what it should be. But staying in the flow of this conversation, we'll go back to this idea. So when I'm in constant resistance, when I am wanting things to be different than they are, then I don't have access to the power of the present moment. And when things happen in the world that we don't like and we'd like them to be different, we are in resistance and we close rather than open. This idea of opening and surrendering to what is allows us to stay in the flow. And there are many ways for us to do this, to stay in the flow. Does it mean deny what's happening? Does it mean that I don't have feelings? No. It means that when the feelings arise, I recognize them, I accept them. I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm even feeling a little hopeless. Whatever those feelings are that arise, we let the feeling arise and we don't resist it. We also don't feed it. We just allow it to move through and then see what's left. What happens when we let the circuit run on whatever those emotions are is what's left is that openness and that possibility. So allow your emotions to come up, let them flow through you so that there's an opportunity for you to do whatever is yours to do in that next moment. So we don't resist the emotions, we don't resist the reaction that we have to things. There was a beautiful expression that I heard someone say, and they said, fear is a reaction, and it's a normal reaction we have sometimes. But courage is a choice. And last month's theme was about that idea of courage and having the willingness to stand up for things. And so we can make the choice to be courageous. We can make the choice to be hopeful. We can make the choice to see the possibility through whatever's happening. But first we have a reaction, and the reaction's okay. You're still in the flow when you're having reactions. You're still in the flow when you're feeling emotions. It's just not staying there, right? There's another expression that I love from a wonderful teacher who said that you have these people visit, anger, frustration, hopelessness, fear, all those kind of things. You just don't make a space for them to hang out with you for a long time. You let them pass right through. I love the design of homes that have an open courtyard in the middle, or when you walk in and you can see the view from the front door all the way through to the other side. We want to think of ourselves as that the view through is there. We can see all the way through. And if something comes into the energy of that space, it can continue all on its way out also, flowing with the river of life flowing through us, not becoming us. It's not who we are, the feelings that we have. It's not who we are, the resistance that we have. These are passing emotions and passing times. We are that which is observing, noticing that we're having these emotions, noticing that they're flowing through us. And what is behind the great flow is this ultimate beautiful energy that we love to call love, God, spirit, presence, and it is ever flowing through us, constantly, without fail. It's like electricity and other types of energy. They're always present, but not always tapped into. I always found that fascinating, that everything that we have discovered has always existed in science. We have named the elements, but they were always there. We have named electricity, but it was always present. And now we name it, we utilize it, we harness it. It's the same for our life energy. It's the same for source. It's always there, always been there, will always be there. And we have access to it by allowing it to flow through us, like the circuit. When we plug something in, it's just tapping into something that is there, that's been channeled. We are a channel ourselves. We are a channel for the eternal flow of good, of God, of love, of source energy. And we stay in the flow by non-resistance. I think it's Paramahansa Yogananda who first said, non-resistance gives me peace. It's been repeated so much because it's such a beautiful mantra. Non-resistance gives me peace. So we accept and we know the things that are happening in the world right now. We let our feelings happen. We let them flow through us and dissipate. And then they're replaced with that open, expansive possibility of the next moment. And for me, I like to call that love. We are forever flowing with love. And even if sometimes we don't feel, notice it, aren't aware of it, it is always there, whether we notice it or not. And as soon as we turn our attention back to the flow of love through us, it is there. Ever present, always available, in the flow. And what are your practices? What are you doing daily to keep yourself open to the flow? Yes, you need to know what's happening in the world. Yes, you need to know what's happening with your neighbors. Yes, you need to know what's happening around you. And what you do with that is where your choice is. What you do with that is the decision that you make every day. So if you make a commitment to stay in the flow, and this is your commitment and you're grounded in it, whatever happens around you, you know that eventually you will respond from the flow. Eventually you will remember the flow. Eventually you will turn inward and know that you are in the flow. I love this idea of the many paths that lead to one. I once was listening to a wonderful talk from some Sufi masters. They were in Berkeley, California, and they came to someone's home, and we were invited to come to this home in this living room and listen. And as we all circled around these three masters, one said to each person, "How did you arrive?" And someone would say, "I just lived down the street. I just walked over here." And someone else had said, I drove. And someone else said, "I took the train." And I said, "I rode my bike." And someone else said something else. Another person drove and came with a friend, carpooled. And he said, "You see, how you got here is not the important thing. That you are here in this present moment right now is the important thing. All the paths led to this same moment. Your experience of getting here was different than this person's experience of getting here. But now that we are here in this precious and perfect moment, let's experience this together. So we can release our journey up to this point. We can release how we're going to move from this place, and we can stay in the flow of the present now. So even if we honor our journeys, honor our experiences, honor what we've been through, we can celebrate the perfect present now, being in the flow of life as it can make all things new. Make yourself new by the renewing of your mind, right? All things made new by the renewing of your mind. Changing your mind, putting your focus on something else, not in denial, not in a lack of awareness, not without compassion, but with the recognition that something greater is ever waiting and allowing you to choose to open into this flow. I love being in the flow with you, with this wonderful community, with my beautiful family and constellation, with the people who you're surrounded by. And I invite us all to remember to ground and connect with our inner knowing that no matter what it looks like, no matter what's happening around you, you are in the flow. The next song that we're going to listen to is called Awe by Etika Leckett and Lisa Ferrero. And I love this song because it reminds us of this truth. If you're not in awe, you're not paying attention. Just being in awe that your blood flows, that the lymph flows, that this beautiful water of your body flows constantly, giving you energy. And the universe flows eternally with creative energy and energy we call love in the flow.
Please enjoy this song, Awe.
Certainty's like clutching what you know inside your fist, like there's no room to question what might loom beyond your wrist. It's the comfort of right angles, the ease of solid lines. It's the emptiness of a lonely box and the space that it defines. Oh, 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 oh. There were times in school when I had fun with the exactness of a game, thinking I would know a flower once I could say its Latin names, like names and addresses, dates of birth would readily explain why some people crave the sun while others love the rain. Holding the mystery, step into the river and feel eternity as the sun will rise and the rain will fall. May I begin each day with gratitude and awe. If I could define in this vast design what was possible or real, I'd never see the desert turn to water or the ocean turn to steel. But I've seen those wonders many times, and each time I recall the wonder, the wonder, the wonder of it all. Holding the mystery, step into the river and feel eternity as the sun will rise and the rain will fall. May I begin each day with gratitude and awe. If we're not in awe, we're not paying attention. If we're not in awe, we're not paying attention. If we're not in awe, we're not paying attention. Inside every one of us, contained in each square inch of blood, there are 75 billion cells. 75 billion cells functioning on our behalf, so that we may simply be. I think of that as a conspiracy of life. And since I'm being a bit reflective, I'd like to add to this human/life perspective. If we took every cell phone on the planet, every telephone line on the globe, and registered the conversations conveyed, the trillions of messages relayed, the entire system would still not approximate the complexity or functionality of a single human brain. That's just another way of trying to portray the miraculous privilege we have of playing this human game, holding the mystery. Step into the river and feel eternity as the sun will rise and the rain will fall. May we begin each day with gratitude and awe, holding the mystery. Step into the river and feel eternity as the sun will rise and the rain will fall. May we begin each day with gratitude and awe. May we begin each day with gratitude and awe.
May we begin each day with gratitude and awe. Right. Just remembering that gratitude and awe, the more gratitude we have for the simple things, awe just kind of rides on the wave of gratitude, doesn't it? And if you're not sure about that, just take it into the laboratory of your life and experiment with it a little bit. Just start every day with a little gratitude journal. Thank you, Reverend Christy, for the beautiful talk of staying in the flow. And Andy, I don't know about you, when Andy sings, I start laughing. He just brings so much joy, flowing in the river of life. And that's the way it is. So I thank you for joining us this morning. And thank you for sharing us with your friends. Please take a moment to sign up for our newsletter if you haven't done so already. And that's a good way to share what it is we're doing in community with your friends. It's a really beautiful newsletter filled with lots of great opportunities and good information. So if you just send that to some of your friends, we would appreciate it. And there'll be more coming up. We also appreciate and are grateful for all of your donations, your financial contributions, help keep SoulCall Global going and helping us to expand and create opportunities. You're going to see some things shifting and changing a little bit on our website as we move. I keep looking toward autumn, staying in the flow as we flow toward autumn. Some shifts and changes in classes that are coming up and how we're going to reach out more to children and maybe people in foster care situations who might be in need of a spark of creativity to remember the divine spark of who they are too. So be on the lookout for more opportunities to help us that way, but know that your contributions help us tremendously, and we say thank you. If you're in need of prayer, please send an email to prayers@soulcallglobal.org. We thank Bonnie Anderson for heading up the prayer team and Candy Lucas for heading up the Reiki team. So if you are in need of prayer, you or someone you love, don't sit with that all by yourself. Allow us to energize and direct some of that healing light toward you or your loved ones, and know that it gets there faster than the speed of sound. It's faster than the speed of light is the speed of love, and we're here to help. One very important thing I want to share. I have a list today because sometimes I forget all the really cool things. Monday meditation. Tomorrow night we'll have Monday meditation from 8 to 9, as we've been doing for almost 2 years now. But an important shift, so it will happen tomorrow, but on the 27th of July, we're going to kick off a new day for our meditations. Our new day starting Wednesday the 27th with a live and hybrid event of Kirtan. We're going to be at 123 Hyatt's Place from 7 to 8 with Kirtan meditation live. And it's going to be on Wednesdays from the 27th of July on. There will be no more Monday meditation. Monday meditation will be Wednesday meditation. So be on the lookout for that. But Wednesday, July 27th will be the first in-person hybrid Kirtan meditation at the Dempsey Event Center. And more information in the newsletter and on our website. But that's going to be our grand launch of that. And also coming ahead, I'm very excited about this. Please save the date for Friday, October 21st, Saturday, October 22nd, Sunday, October 23rd. It's going to be our first live and in-person SoulCall Global / Circle of Love retreat. It's going to be here in Central almost said Central California, Central Columbus, Central Ohio. We are very excited about that. It's going to be hybrid also, but mostly live and in person. With David Leonard's going to come and join us, Natalia Zuckerman, Helen will be doing Qigong. It's going to be an immersion into that sacred. It's an experiential retreat, Circle of Love gathering. We've been doing these for over 20 years, and it's going to be merged with SoulCall. And it's going to be at the Dempsey Event Center in Delaware, Ohio. More information coming, but write that down. Don't do anything else that weekend. And I've also gone to great lengths to make sure there's no football game that weekend. Nothing's going on. So it's a bye week. You have no excuse. So come on down. We really hope to see you there. More information as we get that together. But the date is firmly in place. So yeah, I couldn't be more excited about that. I feel like I'm on a talk show or something like that. So I want to say thank you for joining us. And wherever you are on the planet, staying in the flow. Join us in meditation tomorrow, but always remember, ready? Want to say it with me? That you are loved. Peace and blessings.
One family, one people, one planet, one love, one family.